Hi guys! I hope you are having a good week. I hope that your brains aren't totally mush from taking the map test. My brain is totally mush and I don't even have to take the map test. So what does that tell you? Okay, I just wanted to pop on here and give you a quick lesson on Frere Jacques. So this is going to be our second song along with First Scale March, which everybody, all the fourth graders in the district are going to play for First Scale March. And then just my Kennerly Concord students are going to do Frere Jacques. So go ahead and open your book to page 24, and this is number 88. Before we jump into playing it, I just want to kind of give you an overview, talk about a few things. The first thing to notice is our time signature. Okay, we are in 2/4 for this, and that means there's going to be 2 beats in a measure, and the quarter note gets the beat. So an easier way to say that is there are 2 quarter notes in every measure. Instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to count 1, 2, and then you'll hit a bar line and you'll start over at 1. Okay? Speaking of rhythm and quarter notes, there are 3 types of notes that you're going to encounter in this song. You start out with quarter notes. Then towards the end of that first line, you'll see the half notes. Those are the ones that aren't filled in, worth 2 beats. Then on the second line, we start out with eighth notes. Those are the ones that are holding hands. And then we finish it out with some more quarter and half notes. So we've got quarter notes, 1 beat, half notes that are 2 beats, and eighth notes that are the 1 and 2 and. Okay, the next thing that I want to point out is you'll see at the very top, on top of that top line, 2 numbers in circles. There's a 1 circled at the beginning and then a 2 circled about halfway through that first line. Now, this is a little confusing. If you remember, in First Scale March, we talked about rehearsal numbers. Those are the big, I think they're squares in First Scale March, the big measure numbers. And those are like important measures that your teacher or your conductor would be likely to start at during a rehearsal. So your conductor might say, okay, everybody, we're starting at rehearsal 5, and you'll see the big 5 in the square. This is not that. These are not rehearsal numbers. If you look right after the title, it says Frere Jacques, round. Then in parentheses, when group A reaches the 2 in the circle, group B begins at the 1 in the circle. So this is instructions on how to perform this in a round, okay? We're not performing it in a round, so you can just totally ignore them. I just don't want those numbers to confuse you. They're not measure numbers, and they're not finger numbers. Just ignore them. Okay. There is also a repeat at the end of this, so when we perform it, we will do the repeat. And I think that's about it. Some of you may be familiar with this song. You may have learned, I remember when I was in elementary school, we learned like the French words and thought we were really fancy when in reality, we were probably pronouncing it completely incorrectly. But if you've never heard this song, the vocal version of this song before, I would encourage you to look it up on YouTube so that you can get familiar with the tune. Okay, all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in and play. There are 4 main patterns in this song, and they each repeat themselves, okay? The first pattern is the first 2 measures, and you have D, E, F sharp, D. So let's play that. 1, 2, ready, here you go. Now we're going to do it the way it's in the music, which means we're going to play it once, and then it happens again in measures 3 and 4. So we're going to play it twice. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, here you go. Okay, if you need to stop the video right here and practice that first rhythm, go ahead and pause it. When you're ready, let's take a look at the second rhythm. So now we have, starting in measure 5, this is the measure with the big old 2 over it, you have F sharp, G, A, F sharp, G, A, and those A's, those are your half notes, so we're going to hold those out. Also, violins and violas, they're asking you to use a 4th finger for these half notes. So you're going to go 2, 3, and then 4th finger. Remember to bring your elbow towards the center of your body under the instrument so that you can reach your fourth finger without having to flatten it out or do anything funky. Okay, let's try it. Get your F sharp ready. 1, 2, ready. Here you go. Okay, so as you can see on this first line, we have the D, E, F sharp, D, and we have the F sharp, G, A. Repeat each of those twice, and you've got the whole first line. So if you need to pause again and practice the second pattern, go ahead and do that. But when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and play the whole first line. Here we go. 1, 2, ready. Here we go. And I should mention cellos. You guys obviously aren't going to use fourth finger for A. You're going to use open A. So you're going to go third finger F sharp, G with a 4, and then tunnel. So if you need to pop that wrist out a little bit so that you can reach the A string without having to lift your fingers up, that'll make it the most efficient. Okay, now let's take a look at the second line. Now here's where things get a little tricky. We've got these eighth notes. Starting on open A, you have A, B, A, G. So think about where that's going to be. Open A, B is first finger on A, back to A, and then the last note is G. So whether if you're a violin or viola, you're going to be going from open A to 3 fingers down. Cello, you're going to be going from open A to all 4 fingers down. So this is another situation like in first scale march when we're going down from high D and we have to go high D, C sharp, B, A, G. And you have to go from no fingers down to all fingers down. It's the same technique. So let's practice these 4 notes slowly first. So we're going to go about this fast. Ready? And here you go. Here we go. Okay, let's do that a little faster. 1, and ready, go. A little faster. 1, and ready, go. Okay. This is probably going to take a little practice. So again, if you need to pause, go ahead and do that. The next measure completes that little phrase, and it's F sharp, D. So to put it all together, A, E, A, G, then F sharp, D. Let's practice that. Ready? Here you go. And just like those patterns on the first line, we're going to repeat it. We're going to play that pattern twice. So let's play through that pattern 2 times. 1, and 2, and ready. Here you go. Okay, we're almost done. There's just 4 measures left, 1 pattern that repeats, and it's just open D, open A, open D. And violins and violas, you can see they've got that little 0 above your A, and that means that you can use open A instead of 4th finger. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and play the last 4 measures. Here we go. 1, 2, open D, and go. Okay, You guessed it, we're going to play the whole second line now without stopping. So starting on those eighth notes and playing all the way to the end. Ready? Starting on open A. 1 and 2 and ready. Here you go. All right, so if you're not getting this perfectly yet, it's okay. You just started learning it, okay? So be patient with yourself. The great thing about having a recorded lesson is you can always pause, you can go back, you can repeat things and practice with me as you need to. For the last thing, we're going to go ahead and play all the way from the beginning to the end. I'm just going to do it once. You can repeat it on your own. So let's start all the way at the beginning and play straight through to the end. All right, 1, 2, ready, here you go. Okay, you did it. So, like I said, this is just an introduction. It's a jumping off point. You can reference this video as we continue to learn it. This and First Scale March is our goal for April. So if that gives you a little bit of a timeline, I want to be able to finish this guy by the last week in this month. So as you're practicing this week, this and First Scale March, please do not hesitate to send me an email if you run into any issues or have any questions, and I will do my best to help you. All right, I will see you next week. Bye.